Stan Lee is like the Where's Waldo of superhero movies. You just know that he'll undoubtedly pop up in a Marvel flick, but the real question is where and when. To date, the legendary comic book writer has had over 28 cameos in Marvel movies and TV shows, making him one of the most pervasive characters in the MCU. Yeah, that's right, I said character. I'm Whitney Van Lanningham, and today we're exploring the theory that Stan Lee is playing the same character in every film. Before we delve any further into this video, we have spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and pretty much every other superhero movie from the past decade, so you've been adequately warned. The idea that Stan Lee is playing the same character in the MCU isn't anything new. Fans have debated this theory since Stan the Man was throwing back gamma-infused sody pop in The Incredible Hulk. The cult of believers for this theory has only been growing with each subsequent cameo, but Stan Lee's latest appearance in Guardians Volume 2 pretty much confirms it as canon. In his Guardians cameo, Stan Lee is shown hanging out with a bunch of bobbleheaded aliens, recounting his previous MCU cameos. Those bobbleheads are none other than the Watchers, a technologically advanced extraterrestrial species that decided long ago that their purpose was to help the universe's less advanced races. But after one of the species they helped use their tech for nuclear war, the Watchers made it part of their code to only engage as passive observers, never to interfere again. Enter Stan Lee. Our Marvel movie trekker is credited as the Watcher's informant in his Guardians appearance, which would imply that he's only human, but it's possible that there's more to him than that. For starters, if we flash back to Captain America's 1940s, we'd find Stan Lee making a cameo as an elderly general. But then, if we fast forward to his next canonical cameo, Stan Lee is rubbing elbows with Tony Stark in 2008, not having aged a single day. Either this guy has a great plastic surgeon, or he's much more than just a Watcher's informant. That's right, guys! It looks like Stan Lee might actually be Earth's Watcher, Uatu himself. While Stan Lee's head is clearly a few dig-dug pumps away from fitting the description of a Watcher, it's not actually all that absurd to conclude that a highly advanced race like the Watchers could shapeshift, especially if it makes blending into the crowd a little easier. If Stan Lee is Uatu, it would explain how he's tangentially involved in every major superhero event in the MCU, because watching Earth's evolution from infancy into a cosmic presence would literally be his job. So obviously he'd be around for the dawn of the superhero era in Captain America, or modern man's first contact with Asgardians in Thor. In the comics, Uatu also has the habit of breaking the Watcher's look but don't touch code, and that coupled with his fondness for mankind would explain how he occasionally saves children from debris or helps Thor's buddy Dr. Selvig work through the theory of cosmic convergence. If only he was a more hands-on babysitter to Tony Stark. That dude pees his supersuit as a fucking party trick. This peripheral role of Earth's Watcher holds water for nearly every MCU cameo, even in Guardians Volume 1. Alright, I know what you're thinking. Hey Shitney Van Dummyham, Lee was Zin Xandar in his Guardians 1 cameo, not Earth. And that's a very rude but astute observation you have there. But maybe you should hit the brakes on calling me by my elementary school nickname and think about the cosmic importance of Peter Quill. If I was a Watcher and I knew a Terraborn Celestial existed, I'd want to check in on him from time to time too, especially if Thanos' daughter was hunting him down. Perhaps the greatest part of the Stan Lee is Uatu theory, however, is that it potentially connects every Marvel movie, including the ones outside of Disney's MCU. Watchers are able to traverse the multiverse, which is a fancy way of saying that they can jump between parallel timelines and dimensions to experience worlds where, say, the X-Men ruin your lawn maintenance, the Avengers save NYC, or you're the father of CGI TJ Miller. This theory can be used to explain how two or more separate Spider-Mans, Spider-Men? Speederman? I don't know, whatever, are able to exist in separate universes without ever web-swinging into each other, while still tying them together for comic nerds like us. Unfortunately, there's a major hiccup in this theory. As luck would have it, Disney doesn't actually own the rights to Uatu as a character. Since Uatu debuted in a Fantastic Four comic, his film options lie with 20th Century Fox. But maybe this is why Stan Lee was credited as a Watcher's informant instead of as Uatu directly. Maybe Stan Lee is Uatu in all but the name. Regardless, this girl's keeping her fingers crossed that someday Fox will give up making fan failstick 4 movies and sell Uatu's rights back to Disney. Firstly, because the MCU president Kevin Feige would finally be able to confirm Stan the Man as Uatu the Watcher, and secondly, because MCU Doctor Doom needs to be a thing. Anyways guys, I want to know if you think Stan Lee is playing Uatu or some other comic book character, and whether his role extends beyond just the MCU. Or maybe you think fans are taking all this Guardians of the Galaxy cameo thing way too seriously. Whatever. Either way, let's debate it in the comments after you click those like and subscribe buttons. You should do that because Uatu can see you when you're sleeping and knows when you're awake. Wait, am I getting Santa and Uatu mixed up again? I don't know, just subscribe to our channel.